All right. Hey, everybody. It's Ryan Shear with Small Business Chronicles. We're back again. It is a very dramatic intro, and I made it. And I understand that it's a very lighthearted, fun show. And it sounds like you're getting ready to watch an episode of Lord of the Rings when you hear the intro. I understand that. I like it. I'm not going to change it. So on with the show today. We've done this a couple times, but we want to keep going down the road of work-life balance. If you are an entrepreneur, if you have a small business, you are all out of whack. You're going to work 13, 14 hours a day, throwing time at things, throwing energy at things, and you're going to do that at a sacrifice of marriage, of kids, of things like that. And that is a crazy important thing not to do. Businesses come and go and falter. Your loved ones, your family, your own health and mental health are paramount over your business. And if you need to hear that again, just hit the rewind 30 seconds, listen to that again, because it is very, very paramount. I've been there. Any other entrepreneur has been there. And you may not be an entrepreneur. You may be working at a business, and in the work-life balance thing might be problem with you as well. So I brought on a guy, love this guy. His name's Jason Spangler, Profusion Business Coaching and Leadership Development. He's going to come set with us today, and we're going to do some back and forth and talk about some work-life balance. How are we doing today, Jason?
Hey, we're doing great, Ryan. Hey, thanks for letting me be on the show. I appreciate that. It's a great opportunity to
Thanks
share.
for showing up.
I too have a story of being imbalanced. I'd like to run that by your crew just a little bit here.
Oh, absolutely.
So when I was a radiology director, and then that was Y2K, year 2000, for those of you that are too young to know what Y2K meant. But yeah, at that huge clock change when everything was going to break down and we were all going to go back to the Stone Age, I was moved out of radiology and moved into the information system side. So I was running the IT for the hospital, making sure that every piece of equipment was going to be going to roll over just fine, and we weren't going to be without the ultrasound machine or the X-ray machine, so forth. So in the process of doing that as a 40-hour work week, and by the way, I have 5 children, and at that time I had 4. And I was running a computer store where I had an internet service provider and a retail outlet. So I was putting computer systems together, and that was before plug and play, when you had IRQ and so forth on those chips as you had to move jumpers over to set the IRQ. So this was a computer store. I did networking. Was growing that business. Things were taking off. We were signing folks up to the internet left and right. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I didn't sleep at all. I would come from work at the and the information system side at the hospital where I was getting paid, and then came into my small business and was setting up these computers and working together on networking if I needed to, making sure all the signups were all in the system. And then I ended up at some point in that period, I heard from my wife those dreaded words that entrepreneurs hear a lot. Is that, hey, you got to choose. It's either me or the business. And that's because I let my business get so far out of balance. Like you mentioned earlier in the intro, we were spending, 100 hours a work week. Family was passing by. 4 kids at home going through those various stages of walking and diapers and so forth. And I was missing out on that. So yeah, work-life balance is very important for the entrepreneur.
Absolutely. And we have a thing that's called hustle culture. And if you're talking about Y2K, and if you're watching this on video and can see the illustrious gray in my beard, you're going to find out that the older you get, the less hustle you have in your culture. And that's just the way it is. And we're watching all these young people literally kill themselves. Drug addiction, alcohol, divorce, family breakup, whatever, because you're focused on the wrong thing. Now, don't get me wrong. It says business in the name of the podcast. We are very focused on business here. We want you to succeed, but we want you to be happy and healthy as you're succeeding. So as a business coach, if I'm let's role play a little bit here.
Okay.
And don't get too far out. It's a clean show, but let's role play here. And as a business coach, if I come to you and I'm like, man, Jace, I'm doing everything I can. I'm working 13-hour days. I'm working weekends, and I just can't seem to get anywhere. I just can't seem to do it. How are you going to instruct that guy on work-life balance?
That's a good one, Ryan. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you, first of all, you mind if I talk to your wife for a little bit? because that's really what matters to me is what's your wife's opinion of your work level. If she's saying that's too much, then we need to have a conversation, and we're going to start there. If she's happy with what you're doing because she doesn't want you around, that's great. We're good. We'll go forward. But obviously that's what I want to do is I want to start with her and have her tell me, yeah, I need to see him down at the 12-hour mark or the 10-hour mark. And then you and I would get together and we'd have a conversation about what can we shed off that someone else could handle. Delegation's huge. And we're horrible at it as entrepreneurs because we know no one's going to do it as good as us. And so I have to keep doing things. No, you can let go. 80% is going to be okay to give you back some quality life. These entrepreneurs work so hard and then they have these resources that they're developing, but they never get to use those resources on quality life and on the people that matter in their lives. So that's where we have that conversation. Let's start there. Where's that balance at? What's important to you?
Absolutely. And a couple statistics here about hours of work, because there's other aspects of work-life balance I want to get into, but we're talking absolute, just clockable hours at work. There's a lot of other countries that have went to a 4-day work week and found they're much more productive. They're much happier. Their mental health is better. Multiple studies show after about the 9th or 10th hour of you working a day, it's diminishing returns. You're less effective. You're less focused. You're less into it. You're more willing to make mistakes. What have you seen with that, Jason, about the successes where people have cut back on their hours?
Yeah, no, that you're exactly right on that. It does. We think that we just get so busy that we're constantly doing things. But the question about your busyness is, what is it that's keeping you busy? Is it all the little rocks, those things that you could have handed off, and then you take care of the big rocks to make your time more impactful? The rule of 80-20, Pareto's law. That means that what are the 80% what are the 20% of the things that are going to generate 80% output? We can focus on those and let some of those other side notes go. But you're absolutely right. The amount of work that we do and we're not being productive of it, that's the stuff that and we don't know because we're the frog in the water. It's beginning to boil and we're boiling along with it. And we don't even know. So absolutely, we need to cut our time back.
And have you ever been around an entrepreneur, a business owner? All my friends are. That's all of us were that way. But you try to have a conversation with them, and they're always on their phone. They're always running off to get this. They're always putting a fire out. They're never focused and they're never present. And that would be step 2 of what I wanted to ask you. Is you can say, "Fine, my wife, you win. I'm going to work from 7:30 in the morning to 5:30 at night," and they do. But then everything becomes a reason or everything becomes an excuse. Or by the time they get home, they can't detach from work. Yeah. What are some of the ways that you would tell me how to detach? How after that 5:30 hour, how do I get that work-life balance to that actually be a clock out? If I work at a factory, a restaurant, a bartender, I clock out of my shift and I go home, and that's not mine. As an entrepreneur, we don't get that. So how do I disengage at 5:30?
That's a great one. What I talk about is transitions. And so we transition from home life to work. And so that during that transition period, I want you to sit down, and when you first get to work, have that cup of coffee, look at your to-do list, and begin to process your day in that brief period of time when you're transitioning to work. The same thing at the end of the day, we're going to transition out of work mode. And so that ride home, that entire ride home, and actually before you even leave work, as I talk about with my clients, is that you're going to spend some time preparing your to-do list for the next day that you're going to leave on your desk. So that's part of that transition, is you're putting this down so that you can remember. Exactly. So you can remember it. And I'm going to take care of this first thing tomorrow. Once that's written down and out of your head, that's the dump. Once you dump that down onto paper, then you can leave it and go home and transition to family life on your way home. Thinking about, what are you going to do when you get home? Who are you going to see when you get there? How are you going to interact with them so that they know you're happy to be back in their presence? And you're going to prepare that scene just as you would on your way to work. You're thinking of work. On your way home, you need to be thinking about your family. So transitions are huge.
And that's really good advice, because that transition is hard. You have a lot of things and going on, and what's going on at work, and how to come home and be present with your family at dinner. And let's say you don't have be present while you're playing Madden,
That's right.
And just be present while you're in the shop building something. There's no discrimination on this show, whatever, but you have to take that break. You have to get away from that. Have you seen any programs, like mindfulness, or because we can get into some really bad habits trying to disconnect as well.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
programs like mindfulness, meditation,
Mhm.
going to the gym. Have you seen anything with a better rate of success than other things
Hmm.
in how to make that disconnection?
All those things are very good. Obviously, if you're a spiritual person, then transitioning and having some of that downtime to be mindful, to be present in the moment, to let go of some of those stressors, however that whether that's through prayer, whether that's through meditation and mindfulness, that happens. Also, the gym, like you just mentioned too, because to get some of that physical energy out, some of that stress out in a physical workout, you get the benefit of health. Plus, you also get the benefit of relieving that stress. I think an exercise is huge as a huge benefit for the entrepreneur. So again, it depends on what is those things. You mentioned hobbies. You mentioned woodworking, or you mentioned play Madden. Those are great opportunities to have that downtime to where you can just let your mind go from work. And you know what's amazing is when you're in the shower sometimes and you're just taking that moment to think about some stuff. Good ideas stop popping in your head because you've shut down some of the noise from all the busyness of today. So you could really, oh, that's a great, why did I think of that earlier when I had that problem? It's
You
interesting
know,
how just some of that downtime can produce some good results.
it's really funny. Cash Miller, that has Marketing Masters, the sister show to this one. We talk all the time. It's part of our network or whatever. And we'll call one another in the morning and like, hey, guess what I just thought of in the shower? Like that is one of our biggest things. And I assure you, we're taking separate showers in separate states. We're
That's
not,
like, okay,
not all
good.
even. But yeah, we're like, oh my gosh, I was in the shower this morning and this just came to me and this just dawned on me, because you overly attach your brain to it. And the shower seems like a place to where we don't do that. And I don't know
Yeah.
why. So if we could replicate that outside of there and make that detachment. And I know some people listening like, yeah, that's great. I know I need to detach. There's no magic button on how to detach. You're
No.
going to have to cycle through and have some hobbies and try some different things.
Mhm.
And sometimes having a drink after work is fine, and that's cool, but just
Mhm.
not 7 or 8 or 10 or 12,
That's
or
right.
or doing whatever. You may need to find that way to detach, but
Yes.
an absolute that is just an absolute definite that you have to do on that. The,
Yes.
the, the next part of work life balance I want to ask you about, because you're my virtual business coach today, is that how do I learn to be patient? That old adage, Rome was not built in a day. I have, you're building part of your company. You're always growing. You're an entrepreneur. You're thinking. You're moving. You're mobile. You're wanting. You've got a million ideas on how to make your company better, but you
Mhm.
only have so much time. You only have so much money. And
Mhm.
one thing that I found in being an entrepreneur and my entrepreneurial friends is they need to slow down
Yeah.
and understand the exact rate their business is going to grow.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And so we're talking about priorities that of those great ideas, you need to really kind of self-reflect on those ideas for a moment and go, okay, I can't do them all. I can do anything, but I can't do everything. So I'm going to focus on this one particular aspect, this one particular idea that I have, and I'm going to see if that grows. Then I'm going to set that for that 1 year period. We're going to try this for a year. We're going to break that 1 year big goal down into 12 months. So we have 12 pieces that we have to accomplish along the way. And then we're going to break those down into 22 business days a month. And I'm going to begin to start step 1, step 2, step 3. Then you'll get there. But it's a matter of the journey of 1,000 miles is one step, starts with step 1. So we're just going to do that, break that down into those steps. And then you're going to see progress being made over time. No one's going to, like Rome wasn't built in a day, like you said. You're not going to get there in one sweep. So take the steps. We'll break it down into smaller projects and I'm going to work the steps.
My mom used to have a weird saying, a lot of weird sayings, but this one was, "How do you eat an elephant?" And the answer to that is one bite at a time. So that's what you have to do, is you have to figure out how to accomplish this one bite at a time. Um, did I lose you, sir? All right. Well, Jason's hooking back up because this is the wonderful world of the internet and I don't edit anything. This show is sponsored by Titan Digital. Good thing we're not an internet provider because of how that's working. While we're waiting for Jason to come back in the studio, if you do need marketing needs, find us at titandigital.com.
There you are.
There you are. All right. It's so funny. I can't wait for you to see this show because I don't feel like editing anything. So yeah, because I'm like, hey, welcome. If you need marketing needs, find Titan Digital. We're not an internet service provider.
That's right. Nor am I anymore.
No,
I used to be. That's funny.
So one of the things that I like to do in my show is it's not as polished as some of the other podcasts that you're going to hear and see. And I don't want it. I have a nice microphone. It sounds good. We're going to have this in nice quality. We're going to put this out. But
yes,
this is one of the things that happens when you try to podcast over the internet.
That's true.
Inevitably, this is going to happen on occasion. So
that's right.
So, and I'm going to use this as a segue to for another part of work-life balance. Be honest and recognize your failures.
That's right.
I think that's a big thing in work-life balance. You can fail. People fail. Success is not a linear path.
Mm-hmm.
It never has been. You learn by failing, reconstructing that, and doing it again.
Yeah.
So in your work-life balance, if you can be a little more honest with yourself and a little more, okay, I failed and I'm not going to take that home with me. And you have to leave those emotions of the day. It's not just about work at the day. We've talked about the hours you put in, how to disconnect, making sure you maintain, making sure. And in our last segment here, I want to talk about how do you leave the aggravation, the pissed off customers, the feeling of failure, all the things that happen through your day. How do you leave them and go back to your life?
Yes. Again, transitions. And so one of those key areas we talked about, whether it's spouse or maybe you have a friend that you can bounce some ideas off. A business coach is someone you can have those conversations with about, hey, this hacked off customer, this bad employee. We can have those conversations. But I highly recommend you don't take those conversations home and let them come into your home life because you had a bad day. You're sharing that with your loved one who's probably going to come to your defense. And now they're going to share with you in that bad day. What have you accomplished? Leave those things at work, have family time and enjoy that time. What happened at home? What did they experience and share their life rather than you bring that home and dump? That's what a lot of us entrepreneurs do. We tend to go home and we wait. You're not going to believe what so-and-so did today or what this customer said about our services today. There's no sense in taking that stuff home. Have a conversation with a friend. If you're going to have that little drink, kind of begin to start thinking through some of those things, but always leave those things at work. I don't recommend we take those home and have those conversations with our loved ones.
No, because then you're just going to get all mad again.
Oh, you are? Yeah, absolutely. And they are too, probably.
Yeah. They're going to be mad. Like, I'm going to go mess them up for yelling at you today.
That's right.
And you're like, no. I mean, if you have a loving spouse, then maybe you don't and they agree with them. And then you have like clarity.
Then you got another problem.
Then you have another problem. One of the things in my meditation and what I do in mindfulness is that you honor that feeling too.
Yes.
Is you don't try to fight it. You don't try to whatever. Bad feelings are good for you. That's one thing that I think people need to understand is bad feelings are good for you.
Yeah.
Have you ever messed up? One time I was helping my grandma move a couch. I was like 10 and I dropped it on her toe, right? Broke her toenail. She has long since passed. This was 40 years ago, that 35 years ago that this happened. You know what? Whenever I move furniture with people, I'm really careful to make sure I don't drop anything on them.
Yes.
Because bad feelings are good for you.
Yes, they are.
Have you ever misspoke? Have you ever been embarrassed in front of people? Have you ever given the client the wrong product or messed up their marketing?
Yes.
What happens? You become better at that.
Yes.
So part of that work-life balance, and this is going to help, and it seems a little left field, is honor those feelings and understand bad feelings are good for you.
Yeah, that's so true. Social media, it's a fence that we paint and we allow people to see that exterior side of that fence. So you look into my life and see how together I have it. But if you could get into my backyard, you'll see that it's not quite as together as I'm presenting it to be. So it's a matter of being that authentic and real with one another. We're human. We're going to mess up. So the word fail, F-A-I-L, is first attempt in learning. That's it. That didn't work. So dropping the couch on your grandma's toe, not a good idea. You learned from that experience, not going to do it again. Same thing on other areas of our lives. Look at that as, hey, you know what? This plan didn't work. I can adjust a little and then try it again. I mean, what was Thomas Edison? What did we say? It's like 10,000 different things that he tried before he found the right filament for the light bulb. Mm-hmm. He wasn't a failure 10,000 times. He knows what doesn't work. 9,999
things that don't work.
That's right. That's right.
I did the same thing with marriage. So, you know.
Oh, no. Hopefully not that many.
Getting close. All right. Jason, sorry, honey, if you're listening to this.
You're the one.
You're the one. You're the one. Right. All right. So this is the part of the show that you have free reign. You've listened, you've made it this far. Jason is a business coach, and I want you to take some time. And if you think you can find value in what Jason says and you think he can help you, pay attention, because Jason's getting ready to tell us all of his great details on how to get a hold of it.
That's awesome. So I'm Jason Spangler, as you mentioned earlier, from Perfusion Business Coaching and Training. I have the website is www.perfusionct, as in coachingtraining.com. What I want to do is come alongside the entrepreneur, having sold 3 businesses over the course of my lifetime, been a radiology director, information system director, all that I've learned. I've got a master's degree now. So all of those experiences, I want to help provide that to you so you don't have to go out and get that master's degree. You don't have to go out and get those 3 businesses experience and then sell those. I can walk alongside you in your journey to help make your business whatever it is that you want it to be. What's success to you? I'll come alongside you and help you achieve that success. Did you know that if you set a goal and you tell someone about it, the chance of you achieving your goal is now at around 65%. If you have an accountability partner that you're going to face next week, your odds go up to 95%. It's just time to help. Sometimes we do need that professional that can come alongside, help us untangle some things, maybe see things different that we didn't see before. And that's what Perfusion's about. And I'm happy to help. I love teaching. And I love helping people. And so that's why I decided after the 3rd business of selling it, I was going to go into coaching so I could come alongside those entrepreneurs and help them be more successful so they can have that well-balanced quality of life that's family and still business related, and they're achieving the goals that they're after.
Absolutely. And phone number, website, all that good stuff?
Phone number is 417-529-9369. And then our website is perfusionct.coachingtraining.com.
All right. And you can find him on LinkedIn, Facebook. You're both of those places.
That's right.
And thank you so much for stopping by. I had a blast, man.
Me too, Ryan.
It's fun. And one of the biggest things in work-life balance is you need to realize which one is more important. And we tend to favor money. We tend to favor work, and that's fulfilling. And I think especially for men, we're out there, we're like, women, don't write me letters. But I think we have more of an addiction to work. And at the end of the day, you got to pick which one's more important.
Yes.
And if I'm going to say something controversial, there's no wrong decision here, but you have to pick which one is more important. And then you have to base your other on that. My wife, love her. She has no aspirations over what she does because she likes to stay at home. She likes to be a mom. She likes to be available. That is great. So that's what she has picked.
Yes.
I am a stupid workaholic that works as much as she will allow me and let me.
Yeah.
But I had talks with her about how much she would allow and let me work and how much she would allow and let me do. And that's how we balance. And that's how we do that. So in the world of work-life balance, make some decisions, make some choices, and just having that balance, just knowing where your priorities lie, making some dedication and sticking to them with the processes we talked about today will change and help your mental health 1,000,000%.
Yes, it will. That's for sure.
All right, and that's all I got for today. Check out Marketing Masters, the Agency Power Show, smallbusinessdelivered.com. We got more shows on the way. I'm on all the major networks, or not networks, all the major podcast places. If I could hang this podcast on a bathroom wall, I would. I've made it very easy to find. So like, share, follow, look us up. My email is ryan@titandigital.com. You can find me over at titandigital.com. Thank you so much.